Hello everybody and welcome to the Sunday race preview for the 2020 Tuscan Grand Prix. Probably a one-off event, which means it's ever more important to see who can claim to be the only winner of the Tuscan Grand Prix here at Mugello. Let's take a look at the drivers and the Constructors' Championship. We remain in Italy, however this is something new. Welcome to Mugello for the Tuscan Grand Prix. It's the 9th stop on this 17-race calendar. After this, a week off before we head over to Russia. Then the second leg of the triple headers of classic races when we get Eiffel, Portugal and Emilia-Romagna. Then we get Turkey, Bahrain, the Shakir circuit on the outer, and the season rounds out in Abu Dhabi. Just 9 races left. It's all go from here. Lewis Hamilton leads the Drivers' Championship on 164 points to Valtteri Bottas 47 back. Max Verstappen is in 3rd place, but the battle between the midfield is hotting up between Lance Stroll, Lando Norris, Alexander Albon, Charles Leclerc, Pierre Gasly, Carlos Sainz and Daniel Ricciardo. We have a 6-way fight for the midfield teams in the top 10. On the second page, Sergio Perez on 34 points leads Esteban Ocon on 30. Vettel, no points last time out, still on 16. 6 for Hülkenberg after that one race. Then Kvyat leads Giovinazzi and Magnussen. No points on the board still for Raikkonen, Latifi, Russell and Grosjean. In the Constructors' Championship, Mercedes leads the way, 281 points, 123 clear. The battle for the midfield, McLaren, Racing Point, Renault and Ferrari all joining in. AlphaTauri in the fight, 2 points to Alfa Romeo, Haas on 1, and still no points for Williams. For the first time ever, we are here at Mugello Raceway. It's the 2020 Tuscan Grand Prix, and we celebrate Ferrari's 1000th Grand Prix. Welcome to the Sunday race preview. It's a tight, challenging circuit here. Built back in 1974, it hasn't been changed since. Let's take a look around this track, thanks to Assetto Corsa for giving us the lap attack. Let's take a look around the brand new circuit on this year's calendar, Mugello. Starting off then, it's a very tight last corner. Perfect exit speed here will give you the run all the way down the long start-finish straight. Only one DRS detection zone at the start-finish straight, so you can open that up, get the straight line speed, move towards the centre of the track but drift towards the pit lane exit as it goes in a straight line on the curve down towards the first corner. The maximum overtaking spot we could see in the race, a hard right uphill corner, turn 2 and 3 immediately come, left-hander, easy to go off in the gravel before the 3rd corner. 4 and 5 up next, pretty much a repeat of turns 1 and 2. Expect to see a lot of drama in qualifying as teams try and take this flat out. Drop down the hill now, maximum elevation change here. Downhill braking zone, right-hander into turn 6, turn 7, 8 and 9. The Aquabarana 1 and 2, absolutely flat out in a Formula 1 car. We had to lift here because we just couldn't get the room in. Aquabarana 2 then, uphill section at turn 9, 10 and 11, downhill section, sort of loop back on each other. And this will be the interesting point in the braking zone going forward. Let the car drift wide in exit 11, ride up now to turns 12 and 13, sort of another chicane area as well. Valentino Rossi broke his leg here back in 2010, missing half the season of course. This oozes MotoGP history. It's completely new for Formula 1. A flat out chicane before you're back towards the start-finish straight once again. The last corner, flick it in, get the apex right, let the car drift out wide, get it straight in the middle of the track, open up the DRS and fire towards the line. That is a lap of the new Mugello circuit for Formula 1. It's been around since 1974, but finally it's Formula 1's go at this legendary circuit. Okay, let's take a look what happened in qualifying then. It was quite dramatic. Here's the qualifying report. So let's start off then with the first part of qualifying for the Tuscan Grand Prix. Vettel scrapes through, but last week's winner, Pierre Gasly, was the elimination surprise from Q1. He just got compromised basically on the track. There was a load of traffic around, a bit like what we saw at Monza and further back in Styria, but yeah, it's always going to happen, wasn't it? Bottas continued where he left off and topped the timesheets going forward as well in Q1 like he did in FP1, 2 and 3. Back off just a little bit was Lewis Hamilton, and of course Verstappen slotted into third place as well. Albon running up fourth place as well, just 2/10 slower as well. Gasly, he was struggling with oversteering and got compromised as well. It left him in the drop zone as well. It's his first Q1 elimination since the Belgium Grand Prix last year, when of course he was back in the Toro Rosso for the first time. Russell briefly looked like he could get through to the next part of qualifying. However, he too got compromised on his last lap. Nobody improving up the order. He got kicked out as well as Giovinazzi. The only Italian driver in the field, and he's once again kicked out in Q1. And every race so far this season as well, he's been eliminated. So in the first session, we lost Gasly, Giovinazzi, Russell, Latifi, and Kevin Magnussen. On to Q2 then, and Sebastian Vettel was our next surprise elimination. He was eliminated on the grid as well, surprising everybody, because we actually thought Ferrari might get into Q3 for the first time in just a couple of races as well. Leclerc came back in for the first time since Spain. He's got through to P7, but the bigger also surprise was the fact for the first time this weekend, Lewis Hamilton beat Valtteri Bottas on the timesheets and went fastest in Q2. Further behind, Verstappen, third, 2/10 off the back, so he's closing in further as well. Sainz out of the last corner as well going forward, but he was in the drop zone after the first runs, but lifted himself up into the top 10 at the expense of his teammate Lando Norris, who got eliminated. He was just a tenth of a second separated the two. Dani Kvyat, P12 as well, out-qualifying Gasly for the second time this year. Raikkonen 13th as well in qualifying as well. Vettel wasn't able to save himself twice in a row though. Once again, he was eliminated from the running. So losing out in qualifying number 2 was Lando Norris from McLaren, Dani Kvyat for AlphaTauri, Kimi Raikkonen for Alfa Romeo, Sebastian Vettel for Ferrari starts 14th in their 1000th Grand Prix, and Romain Grosjean in 15th place. On to qualifying 3 then, and we'll drop the top 10 just below you as well. Lewis Hamilton taking pole position, a 1:15.144, the fastest lap of the weekend so far. Valtteri Bottas in second place. Now, these were all the times set on the first run because, like in Q2, nobody improved on their second go-around, and that was because Hamilton got through, as did Leclerc. That bumped Leclerc up to 5th from 7th after his first run. However, the most dramatic thing that happened was that Esteban Ocon spun coming out of Casanova, which is turn 4, brought out the yellow flags and spoiled Valtteri Bottas' lap and everybody else's lap. So Hamilton kept pole position as well from Bottas, Verstappen, Albon, Leclerc, Perez, Stroll, Ricciardo, Sainz, Ocon, the top 10. Quite dramatic top 10, and it's interesting as well. Don't forget, we've got the battle in the midfield between Racing Point, Renault, McLaren, Ferrari and AlphaTauri. 5 teams in the hunt for the midfield for third and fourth place, of course, in the championship. It's very dramatic stuff going forward. But still, the top 10 on the grid, Hamilton looking quite good. Let's take you through the grid then for the 2020 Tuscan Grand Prix. It's Lewis Hamilton on pole position on row 1. Alongside his teammate is Valtteri Bottas. Max Verstappen starts third on the grid. He's alongside Alexander Albon. Lance Stroll starts 6th on the grid. He's alongside Ferrari. Charles Leclerc starting in 5th. Dropping further back, Sergio Perez has that one-place grid penalty for causing a collision in FP2 with Kimi Raikkonen. He starts 7th. Danny Ricciardo starts 8th. Carlos Sainz 9th alongside Esteban Ocon, rounding out row 5 in 10th place. Row 6, Lando Norris alongside Dani Kvyat. Row 7, Kimi Raikkonen and Sebastian Vettel. Row 8, Romain Grosjean and Pierre Gasly. Row 9, Antonio Giovinazzi and George Russell. And row 10, Nicholas Latifi is alongside Kevin Magnussen. Loads of action to look forward to here this weekend for the Italian Grand Prix Part 2. It's the Tuscan Grand Prix, of course, a different name, but we're still in Italy, back-to-back in the country, of course. Our second of 3 races we have here, thanks to Imola being back. But Ferrari start 5th on the grid with Charles Leclerc, 14th on the grid with Sebastian Vettel in their 1,000th race. We are live on YouTube following this programme, 2 o'clock UK time. Do join us for live coverage of the race. We're back at 9 o'clock tonight also for the Sunday race review. It is going to be absolutely fantastic. My pick for the victor, well, Lewis Hamilton or Valtteri Bottas. But as we saw last weekend in Italy, in Monza, anything can happen. Join us to find out live on YouTube after the break.